Hello everybody. How you doing? How is the volume? Is everything fine? Let's talk about Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his glorious achievements. And when I say achievements, I clearly mean achievements. But if you put on your proper Islamist hat, they might actually be real achievements. Wait, should I not start yet? No, not starting? Can I start now? Crunch, I'm waiting for your approval to start. No? Yes? Hey, hello, Purple Pulp. All right. Let's start with like, subscribe, leave comments, share with your friends, and hello, everybody. How you all doing? Okay. Okay, so it was a joke. I can start now. Talk about. I actually wanted to make a video on the achievements, the great achievements that Erdogan had accomplished. And you know what I said? Let's make it alive so I can interact with you guys, and then I'll make a video out of it. Or just film again where I'll see. I'll be like testing my materials on you all and see what you react best to. But so, all right, you guys asking me if Erdogan will survive. Here's the thing. Turkey is an interesting country. I'm not optimistic. And from my talks with my friend, at least he took over the legal system. And the real question is how much of the real power, meaning those who carry the arms, how many of them support him. And the beauty with Islam and people who believe in it is that they are willing to compromise on their life quality and fun and, luxuries, like, I don't know, being a little bit more than an animal, which is a luxury, according to Islam. So if you feed them grass and a little bit of meat, it's like, that's the ideal Islamic lifestyle, I guess. Anyway, so the question is, what kind of mindset those who carry the guns have? And yeah, I've heard. Okay, so you heard Rubio is going in the upcoming days to Turkey to discuss selling F-35s to it? Yes, I've heard. And I actually have to say that this is one of real achievements for Erdogan. I mean, like, real as in that's a real achievement for him, unlike other achievements that he had accomplished, which depend more on the perspective of what do you think an achievement is, I guess. So that would be it. So yeah, thank you. Hey everybody. Thank you. Anyway, hey Shano, it's nice seeing you here. Thank you. Actually mixed two lipsticks. Okay, I need to focus. This is why it's fun when I made like a shit ton, like so much data about Erdogan, and I was like, if I make it just a video, I wouldn't even know where to start because he had so many achievements and accomplishments, and I thought, like, maybe I'll just experiment on you guys. So to be honest, the live today is not supposed to be too long, but we're gonna have fun. And also, want to take this opportunity to add some extra information, which is the self-reflection part. Because sometimes I look at things that are happening in other countries, like aka Turkey, and I think about my own country. Because I'm self-reflective like that and like amazing. You know, and then I decide I'm better and stuff like but regardless. So it's an interesting situation, right? Because we also have a lot of inner struggles in our country right now. And looking at the protest in Turkey, I was thinking, I bet those Israelis who go out and protest in Kaplan feel like they are on the same moral level as those who protest in Turkey. Of course, they are delusional. But to convince myself that they are delusional, I had to break down the situation to myself to better understand why they are wrong when it comes to my country and they're right when it comes to Turkey. And first of all, the situation is different, right? The timing is different. And to be honest, I feel like at this point, it's kind of like those protests that the Turkish people are having. It's a little bit late, right? So Erdogan already took over the legal system versus the perceived attempt of taking over of the Israeli legal system by the government, that this is what the judicial reform is supposed to be in the mind of the leftists in Israel, which it's not, because, well, there are a lot of reasons for it. But I think the biggest difference is that the leftists, like, they look at the people who vote for Netanyahu and people who are not the old Ashkenazi elitist population, which it means like it's not enough to be Ashkenazi also, because there are Ashkenazis who came later, like American or USSR Jews who came to Israel, but they don't count in that Ashkenazi elite club because they were not there to grab all the goods in the beginning. And the Yemenites were there first, to be honest, but they didn't have the assets to grab anything back then, even though, ironically enough, yes, there is a good representation of that population in those grabbers as well. So it's not completely Ashkenazi, just majority Ashkenazi. It doesn't reflect the demographics of Israel today. It reflects the demographics of Israel as it was when Israel was established. But here's the interesting thing, right? If you think about the Islamic population of Turkey, you don't understand, like, that's risky. They can, if they become the majority, they take over the system, right? Then, and you put somebody like Erdogan, who once addressed democracy as a car that you use to get somewhere, but you have to ditch it as fast as you can because democracy sucks. So that's a ruler that fundamentally does not believe in democracy, and he says it, which it brings me to the number one difference. They had been undemocratic to begin with. They've never been democratic, which is very different from the right in Israel, which was always democratic and demonized as not being democratic for no real reason except for achieving the goal of the leftists to rule. But the interesting thing is this is exactly how they view, like, the mindset is, I've made those speech so many times before. It's like when people ask me, like, so what did Hitler do wrong? Well, because what Hitler do wrong is to attack the most productive organisms that he had in his body, and then be surprised that it ruined Europe. Well, you ruined the most productive populations. Of course, it's gonna ruin the continent, and many are gonna die. But if you actually got rid of a population that, let's say, is more Amalekite in nature, and maybe do it in a more humane way, in a way that, would leave them a choice to do better and be better, then this is not completely wrong, except the Jews weren't that way. And it's the same with Turkey. So the Islamic mindset is very different from the classical Jewish mindset. Unfortunately, though, because at some part Judaism was also hijacked, especially like in the Ashkenazi community. Think about Ashkenazi extra like religious Jews. They're more like a cult. Hasidic Jews are more like a cult versus Sephardic Mizrahi religious Jews. Those are not as cultish, even though they're more cultish right now because they were influenced by their Ashkenazi Haredi population. So it makes sense that these communities that live together have a very distorted understanding of what mainstream Judaism is, because they reflect upon each other, being this leftist versus cultish kind of Judaism, but it's not Jewish at its core. Another main difference is that they might not like the Haredi population because of the way they had, well, for lots of good reasons, but there is one more fundamental difference is that they don't take arms. I always think it's so ridiculous when the Haredi population are making any kind of noise. All I can think of, you guys don't go to the army, you don't go to the police, and you have zero arms. Zero arms. You know how easy it would be to deal with you if you annoy the right people for long enough. I always it looks so baffling to me. And to be honest, all you have to do is to say that their blood is allowed and let the neighbors do whatever they want and say those are areas we're not even gonna police. They're not paying their taxes. We're not gonna police them. So if you have a revenge for the Jewish, if you want some Jewish blood, here's some free Jewish blood. I know it's awful. It's something that only awful regimes would do. But if you push people to the extremes, then it gets to it, unfortunately. But so it's funny to me. So there is a fundamental difference between those who vote for Netanyahu versus those who vote for Erdogan, which is the understanding of democracy and the fundamental difference between Judaism and Islam. So when it comes to the protest inside of Israel, they go against democracy, but they think they go against some sort of dictatorship because they have a distorted understanding of Judaism and a distorted understanding of the mainstream Jewish population. So that's that's what's pushing them. And to be honest, were they right? Were the mainstream Jewish population more like the Islamic mainstream population? Then their timing is correct, because they are protesting before something like what Erdogan did happened, right? So they are protesting to make sure that Israel doesn't even get close to the situation that Turkey is at, except they are completely wrong in the understanding of reality, which is super important. Like what I want to say, since October 7th, I've tried to push this time and time and time again. You're wrong because you don't understand that Gazans don't think like Europeans. Doesn't matter how much you pay them, they would rather live in a tent or underground and fight for the glory of jihad than be happy with their families. And that's as a fundamental difference. You have to understand who is in front of you. And if there is something that I think is fundamentally the problem of the left in Israel and a lot of the world, is that they fundamentally don't understand who is in front of them. They don't understand mainstream Judaism and the Jewish population in Israel. They don't understand it fundamentally so, meaning they think it's way more like Islam than it really what it is, because the governance system in Judaism is so completely different, and the treatment and the thinking and the relationship between Judaism and war is so different, so fundamentally different, of course, woman, everything. But there are cults even in Judaism, which, of course, the cousins of the leftists. It's the same family. One went to a Hasidic cult and the other one became a communist. So they reflect upon each other. They reflect each other 100%. They are mirroring each other. But in doing so, they distort the main branch of what most of us are. So this is a very interesting. So it's this rambling of me doing the self-reflection part, which I thought is interesting, is something that is exclusive to the life, versus the list of accomplishment of Erdogan. I also plan to do a proper video about it. So how is everybody doing? I've been seeing. By the way, you guys, feel free to support this channel. Go and buy me coffee. It's gonna be a link and a photo, and support me financially if you can, because really this is how I can keep going. So that would really motivate me. So you guys can hear my honest thoughts about everything that's going on. So right now what we're seeing in Turkey is a population that I believe woke up late. And like I said, so the fundamental problem with the left is that they don't understand mainstream Judaism and the mainstream population in Israel. And even worse than that, they don't understand the Islam and Arabs, which is the most awful part about their misunderstanding. Because, we could tolerate them not understanding mainstream Judaism. This is what Israel did for 50 years. For 50 years, the mainstream and the majority of the Israelis that got the treatment of these stupid monkeys from the elitist population didn't fight back on purpose. We didn't fight back because we believed it's better to be humiliated than to have to try to negotiate with these lunatics who are narcissistic, don't understand what's in front of them, and it's easier to just we have it's a demography bomb, right? We always knew that. It's like at some point we're gonna become so much of a majority that they are getting smaller and smaller in numbers that we're gonna win. So the right had literally made itself smaller to not bring the country into ruin for decades. Not even 50 years, that's the minimum, but even during the independence war, how many of the right-wing population, the right politics were killed directly by the left in Israel? And what was back then, was it Jabotinsky, what his reaction was? There will be no civil war. After the Altlana, I think, was shut down, and I'm sorry if I'm messing up the data, but I'm telling you there were a lot of incidents where the left had killed the right in Israel during the independence war, and the leaders of the right, the right in Israel, said there will be no civil war, and even though they killed hundreds, we're not going to fight back, and gave up. And for the last 50 years, since the right won the elections in the great Mapach, I don't know how to translate it. It was like a real shock when the right actually won the elections with Begin 50 years ago. The left was panicking. They started talking about, it's dictatorship, we're losing the democracy, and they've been using the same slogans they are using now. They've been using the same slogans ever since the right was elected for the first time, which I don't think they understand the concept of democracy and switching governments, but whatever. They don't understand democracy in principle, just like they don't understand the mainstream Judaism. So that was awful, but tolerable. Better be belittled than humiliated and just wait for reality to prove you right. Because Oslo was stupid, but the right was proven right. And every year we see that the right are proven right. And even the most narcissistic leftists in the world, like, I mean, how long can you deny reality, especially when it's brutal, right? So you will see, like, the woke, you go woke, you become broke. Well, in Israel, it's not that you go woke, you get broke. It's worse than that. You're woke and you die, like right away, like super. You like die just. So yeah, but now what we're seeing, what led to October 7th, is a much bigger problem. It's not only that they don't understand the mainstream population in Israel, they fundamentally, to their core, don't understand their neighbors, the Arabs. And that, at that point, it's deadly. Their delusions got to the point of the maximum amount of deadliness. Yeah, I think some dude has it perfectly. Go woke, you choke. And die. Like right away. Like there. And I say, like, I said it a lot of times, right? Don't get me wrong. Jews are supposed to be smart. Let me tell you. So I saw an experiment that showed that people need to get electrocuted 3 times to get the point, and monkeys 15 times. Well, I say, like, the leftist Israeli or leftist Jew need to get electrocuted like 100 times or so. So way more than a monkey to understand what's in front of me. Yeah, maybe go walk, get a stroke. That's a good one. So yeah, it became deadly. So we have to fight, like, the reality now is different anyway. So they're delusional, but their tactics and, like, their need to defend democracy based on the delusional assumptions, right, on axioms that are not true, aren't fundamentally wrong. Because had the Turkish secular Turks acted in a similar way when the time was right, with the same vigor and timing that the left in Israel does, they might have not lost Turkey. Rebecca, you know why Muslims don't go woke? Well, because they are dead already. And dead people cannot go woke. They're just zombies. That's why. Joshua, thank you so much for your support. As the guy who has been electrocuted 3 times, I can tell you that I'm now afraid of replacing a car battery or installing ceiling fan. You see, Joshua, you're not Jewish, right? As a smart person, as an average guy, you only had to be electrocuted 3 times. Now imagine the average Jew has to be electrocuted 100 times to get the point. You see how dire our situation is? Well, thank you for your support, though. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about Erdogan achievements. Let's start with my favorite. You know, in a parliamentary system, parliamentary democracy, you have 2 positions. You have the president, who gives the mandate to create a coalition to the biggest party. And then you have the prime minister who actually runs the country. The heck, who needs those two? Like, why? Who needs that? Like, seriously, like, why? Like, the president's job is just basically being the Queen of England. Just, you give a mandate and then you disappear and say annoying things from time to time. Erdogan, he's a genius. Like, he realized that. He figured it out and he said, fuck that. We don't need a president and a prime minister. And now there is just one job. You know? Especially, you don't need a president that would give a mandate to the prime minister. You better have like a president that is also the prime minister that gives it himself a mandate. Yeah, fuck that. Good job. I think this is a very good accomplishment Erdogan had. And yeah, and of course, like Erdogan, I think he realized it because he first was a prime minister, finished the amount of terms he could serve as a prime minister, and then he had to go be a president. And then he was like, well, who needs a prime minister? Let's just be the president. Yeah. Who needs that? So that's a fun accomplishment. Yeah, people are, you guys, you have, see, there are so many accomplishments. I can see the comments. You guys are like, what about all the Kurds that Erdogan killed? What about how he ruined the Turkish economy? I know. He has so many accomplishments. Like, how can you choose one? This is why I was hesitant with making the Erdogan accomplishments video, because there are so many. Like, I literally didn't know what to focus on. Like, there are and so many, and also like when it comes to his relationship with Israel, there are so many ways that he annoyed Israel throughout the years, which is also like super, like starting like with the Mavi Marmara in the attempts to allow the conquest by foot of Israel, which was a thing. I actually want to make a separate video on that, because this is exactly what's happening in what Turkey tried to do to Israel, right? Like, they didn't try it. They supported it. And I guess when the social media became, established at first, they realized like, wait, you can tell a lot of people, like a lot of people to do the same thing at the same time. And they were like, oh, what a crazy idea. Let's all march together to Israel and take it over, right? If all the Arabs, all the countries, right? All the Arabs around us, if they all just started walking towards Israel and like breaks through, you can take over Israel. It's 400 million people. Amazing. And Turkey was a great supporter of that. And ironically enough, this is exactly like, and Israel was like, they shot them. They shot the people who walked. And this is something I've been trying to tell Europeans. Stop with the bring it to turn down the, like, turn the boats around. No, drown the effing boats, drown them. Refugees running? Those are not refugees, those are invaders. Anyway, I think from that attempt, Turkey had, like, they did their homework. They realized, like, okay, so this framing was bad. But so when it came to doing the same thing, exactly the same thing to Europe, they took a little boy's body and filmed it, right? Like, they position, like, first they like make it a pretty photo because he was down at the rocks, and they brought him to the beach and they made this photo and like made it very tragic. And believe me, that was basically the only child that was on those boats. Basically. Anyway. Yeah, so yeah, I want to make a video on that because that's fun. It's like talking about this attempt to just walk. And obviously the whole media was like, oh my God, they don't even carry arms with them. They're just people walking. It's peaceful. Damn, that was scary. That was scary. Not gonna lie. But I guess they did their own work, and they were like, okay, so what if we like frame it a bit differently? And since like the media in Europe was already lubricated, right? So because they had to, the Nazis that controlled the media in Europe, literal Nazis, like the descendants of like literal Nazis, like the Nazis were never eliminated completely. They were those who were running Europe after the war were still the Nazis. So it's not that it changed. So they were like, they already were lubricated, like they were oily, like they were like smooth and good, and like they already knew how to reframe what's the reality in front of them. So they were already used to that. And then, well, like they were so used to it, they didn't notice when they started doing that to themselves. So at the beginning, in the 60s, like, you had the European leaders sitting with the KGB and Yasser Arafat and thinking how to and finally get rid of all the Jews and like finish the job. So they made up this story about the poor Palestinians and this new genre of victimhood of the Arabs that are the majority, and they have a knife between their teeth and like slaughter for fun and rape for fun, like how to make them look like the victims. And they were sitting together, these beautiful people, right? You have the Westerners and the KGB and the USSR and the Arabs like sitting together and like, oh, we didn't finish the job 10 years ago, so now we have to think about a new way to finish the job. And clearly, like the problem is that the population is already like the last time they noticed, like it brings kind of a lot of wars. So this time, like we need a new approach. So last time it was fascism is awesome. Now it's gonna be anti-fascism is awesome. It's the same, just like let's subvert it, because they're okay now. Like fascism was in fashion. People were like, yes, we need strong leadership. Now it's the other way around. Now we are anti-fascists, and now it's gonna frame it like that. But the goal is the same goal anyway. And so they were like making the setting up the ground so that Israel would be like invaded and get like, and finally getting rid of the effing Jews right now. Like what did we ask for? Just to remove a tiny minority out of Earth? Why is it so effing hard? There's thousands of years people trying and it's not working. Like what? Like, on principle. At this point, that's on principle. Just because it's so annoying. Like just on principle. Seriously. Anyway, yeah. So that's they lubricated the system. And when Israel was invaded by foot soldiers, they were like, oh, these are innocent civilians. But then, that's what's funny, Europe started to get invaded by those people as well. And but they couldn't change the record. Yeah. Fuckers. Yeah. You eat what you cook, you pieces of... Oh, anyway, Erdogan also, like, yes, this is one of his achievements, because guess what? He is the facet of the refugees. He literally decides how, the stream. Everybody talking about Russia and Belarus and like them. No, sweethearts. Like the main, like just open a map. Just open a map. And by the way, the reason I shared the video I've made about what would happen if Israel would disappear tomorrow. Well, guess what? This is something that is happening whether or not Israel is going to disappear. I kind of recommend you, Europeans especially, to watch it. I really do think you should watch it. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so the person who holds the facet and the balls and you know, all the assets of Europe, like holds it and squeezes. Together with his NATO and EU statements. That's Erdogan. He's like squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Funny. Funny, funny, funny. Yeah, see, this is another thing. This is something I talked about in that video that I made about what if Israel disappears tomorrow. So I shared it in my community in the post. So I think you guys should watch it. It's not that simple. This alliance will be very temporary. It is an alliance that is temporary in nature, by the way. Nocturne, I'm in Turkey right now. Well, how is it? Tell us from the ground. Are there any Turkish people here? Do you guys wanna go live, talk about Erdogan achievements with me? I think if you have Discord or something, I can open the discussion on Discord. Let's open a stage. Let's say Turkey. See if you guys want to join me. Let's see what Shana is saying. All right. Okay, so there is this. I opened the stage and there are people here. Hello. All right. Let me invite you all in the... No. All right. Shana, I can see that you are there, right? You're on Discord now. Can you invite people? Can you get a link? Because for some reason my invite link that I cannot get it. Like I cannot get the link out of it. So if you are there, can you share the link if it's possible? Anyway, also, yeah, speaking of Erdogan and economy. Yeah, okay, so can you share? So somebody said like the invite link worked for me. So can you give me the link so I can share it? Please, because I cannot share it because of like I don't have the actual link. I cannot get the link right now. I think I also have the link in my description, so you can do that. Nocturne. So the Erdogan's economic policies are not capitalism. They're Islamic. They're Islamic. He was against taking interest because of his Islamic understanding of the world. He literally implemented economy according to Islam. This is how he ruined Turkey's economy. Good job. Islamic, like literally, like don't accept advice from a lunatic that had epilepsy in the 7th century as your economy advisor. What a stupid way to live. You guys, nobody's gonna send me the link. I don't get it. I say invite. Okay, give me the post the link here. Okay, post the link here. Nobody's gonna join me. Like what? How does this work? You guys. In Turkey, interest rate. Yeah, well, at some point he had to give up on his Islamic understanding because everything was going to shit. So, okay, Discord link is in description. Yes, thank you, Pierce. Okay, so no Turkish. Anyone from Turkey here? Nobody. Yeah, I think like his ruining of the Turkish economy is incredible. And on top of that, like he really goes like when they get like now ever since October 7th, he decided to completely cut off Israel. And Israel had a lot of trade with Turkey. And it's like you're just adding salt to injury or an insult from injury. Levant got so you're welcome to join the Discord if you guys wanna. How do I send you the link? Well, just text it. Here, let me just find it in my own description. You know, you guys, it's so difficult. Why is everything so difficult with you? He is the greatest ally of Israel. Who? Erdogan? Oh, yeah, he is not. He is the. But he is practical. He is practical. He is not an ally. He is awful. But he took the practical approach. But right now, like the relationship between Israel and Turkey is just. Um, hello, hello, Shamik. Okay, did you guys get the link or what? No, no link. Ugh, why is it so complicated? Why is life so complicated? Okay, let me see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, so other things that Erdogan did is he had promised to conquer Jerusalem several times, which makes him a great Israeli friend for sure. Israel must love the person that promises to conquer it in his speeches to his people. I was like, yeah, we're gonna go to Jerusalem, we're gonna get Jerusalem. Best friend, BFF. Okay, let me find the link. No, nobody is joining me. I feel so alone. So alone. Okay, you guys. Okay, Discord server. There is a link in the description. See, join it. Join it. Come in. Why can't I paste it? Why is everything so hard? Here is Taylor. Erdogan wants to revive Ottoman Empire. I agree. Of course he wants to revive. Also, like, his economic policy made it almost impossible for him not to want to revive the Ottoman Empire. And he goes to the classic way of the Ottoman Empire, which is being very, very poor, living out of basically controlling some trade routes and being agricultural for the most part. This is the direction that Turkey is going into. There are also like downsides of being of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was the sick man of Europe for centuries for a reason, because they're so poor. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay, you guys joining me? Just raise your hand so I can allow you to speak. So, because I can see that Arya is okay. Hello, Arya. Are you Turkish? Wait, you guys need to hear him too. You're not Turkish, but you wanted to share your feelings.
No, just want to talk. I guess my opinions. Yeah, why not? I'm always interested in hearing my opinions. To be honest.
Okay, you share your opinions then. Hello.
Opinions?
Yeah, I also got
Huh?
tired. I talked so fast and like so much that my throat is dry. I want someone else to take the mic for a little bit.
Oh, okay. You want to take a break? Is that what it is? I don't know. I just think that with everything in in this world, they all have to with here's my question. Is Turkey obviously it's big news, but is it taking the headlines over like Israel and Trump? I don't think so. Is
No,
it?
nobody talks about like what's going
No.
on in the almost not at all in the Israeli media, which is
What's
also annoying to be honest, considering the fact that like they
no Jews, no news?
what
Nah, because like in Turkey, like it just like it's obviously a story. It's like on the side. It's not like the main story. The main
because
story is obviously
yeah,
the
that's
main
the
story is
other
obviously the
thing.
Jews.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, it's
it's
always gonna be
people
that.
are afraid also of shaking Turkey because Turkey is holding a lot of countries in their sensitives and squeezing.
Okay, but people are not afraid to attack Trump at any situation. I mean,
Well,
like being here, Canada just throws shade at him all the time. I mean, why are they
uh,
scared of Turkey?
wait, Carlos wrote something. What I meant yesterday was that everyone loves something. Oh no, I missed it. I have to open the app to see what Carlos wrote. And thank you for your support, Carlos. He bought me some coffees, actually 10 books. What I meant yesterday was that everyone loves you and your content, great, but where is the kesef to keep it going? Also, I mentioned the 400 million strategy to high-profile anti-Israel Jew. She thought I was from Jupiter. Yeah, okay.
Ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are there still a lot of I mean, obviously there probably are less, but there are like a lot of Israelis still think that they can share the land with them.
Share the land with the Arabs?
Yeah, like there's still like a crazy amount of people that think that.
It's an interesting question because there is theory and then there is reality. First of all, like the most problematic about like not with the Gazans, but not with Palestinians for sure. But then the question gets more heated if you actually start talking about Israeli Arabs.
Oh, okay,
And it's also an interest. It's a weird question. Like I don't think there is a day where I don't interact with somebody who's an Arab.
right.
So it's
Well, that's
a
because
so can you imagine like having a mindset like thinking like Arabs are your enemies when literally I cannot think of a day where I don't have some direct interaction with them and also in my house sometimes like it's very
okay.
it's a difficult it's like
I know what I'm about to say is very different, but I mean, is there a day that an American doesn't interact with an illegal person that like and they want strong borders and people who are doing crime to get out of the country? Like obviously it's different. It's a different level. It's a different world. But it's my best analogy I could think of.
so one person like nobody like we don't want to live with them. Okay. The difference is like the left believes in separation and strong borders, which is funny, I know. They like, but that's the mindset of classical left in Israel. So they might give up on land if it means like, but they're like they have like this villa in a jungle or a fortress kind of mindset. Um,
Okay.
and the right in Israel believes that you cannot have that mindset and you have to fight them and ideally have natural borders that are easier to defend, right? So At least like there is a reason that Israel has the border that it has, like that, like it just like geographically speaking, you need to have,
Right.
like, if you have the Sinai Peninsula Desert like as a buffer zone, and then you have the points in the north, right? The high mountains in the north, and you have this vantage point, and you have Judea and Samaria, which, also you have a valley between that and Jordan. Then it's a very different thing than having undefendable borders. But the left is narcissistic and has delusions of grandiosity, so they think they can protect borders that are unnaturally from a geographic perspective, unnatural from a geographic perspective.
Well, I mean, I think it was it Olmert that gave away the buffer zone in Lebanon because he said the world's going to be on our side when it happens again. Is that a true story, or
Who?
Olmert? What's his name? Prime
Olmert?
Minister?
I think it was
Yeah,
Barak. Like Barak left Lebanon.
it was Barak. Yeah,
Olmert, wait, in 2006 was another war.
I know Olmert was
I
the
mean,
was the '05 war, right? Barack was before that, right? It was like
Olmert, who
2000.
was in 2006? I don't remember.
Old guy, I think. That was.
Anyway. Okay, we're talking about a person that was in jail and a person that needs to be in jail anyway.
Oh. That sounds like. I don't know. That sounds like every politician that.
No, but like for
Whatever.
it's not like not every politician, but these ones are.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Olmert in 2006. Okay. Um,
Well, don't they have the Supreme Court on their side? Whatever there. No.
they do, but
Yeah.
I would like, but if you do something that is that much of a real crime, I mean,
All right.
Woodbach is not in jail. It should be for sure. So
All
he
right.
got away from. This is why I wanted the Epstein files and the Cat and Zones and the anti-Semites that love conspiracy theory to make a big deal out of Woodbach being there. So it would force the
Oh,
system
right.
here.
He was one of those.
Yeah.
He was one of those people on the island, right?
Yeah, so a lot of Israelis
Oh,
think he's a PDF file and they want to see him thrown into jail, except, those who need to cooperate with giving the data to the public are not so keen to do so for some annoying reason, because it's
all
part
right.
of the left elite globalist bullshit.
Yeah. All right. Um. Okay, I have an interesting opinion. I don't know if you hear me out with this one.
Mm.
I think it's a mixture of spirituality and history at the same time. So I actually went to Israel this past summer,
Oh, awesome.
right? So I was at the hostage square,
Uh-huh.
and this and this lady's like giving us a tour, and like she's telling us the reason why the world, whatever slash media, whatever you want to call it, the public is on their side is because we don't know how to tell a story. We're
Right.
just. So I said to her, okay. I said to her, you guys don't know how to say a story. Don't you guys have like, or know how to market stuff like that? I said, wait, you guys have like the best tech. Everybody invests in your businesses. You obviously have to know how to market. And I just think there's more to that. I just think that there's like
No, I'm telling you,
the
it's in
Bible.
principle at this point. Ever since, like, can you imagine, like, this annoying minority? First of all, like, you just, if, like, think about it, like, the Jews annoyed the Pharaoh, annoyed the highest advisor in the Persian uh, empire. Like, if you follow
Muhammad,
the
right?
Bible, like, is there a great leader that didn't annoy? So, but
Right.
at
No,
some point,
no,
it's just
no.
on principle.
Of course it is, and they're just like you could
You
make
see,
up all
like,
your marketing, whatever you want. It's like the marketing, like China tries to market how good of a country they're. I think most people understand they're not that great. Like people, reasonable people are like, yeah, they're crazy. Russia has RT. They go around the media like it's never their fault. I think most people think it's like, yeah, they're not a great country. There's no human rights there. Like everyone knows that. Or like Iran, like, oh, they troll this thing, but then when it's like Israel versus Palestine, they know like these Palestinians have no rights there. They go, nah, free Palestine. That's it. It's like they don't really.
yeah, but that's like
They know the Jews are.
but that's like like, you know, if you have, I'm not kidding. You know, the media story started in the 60s when the Europeans sat with leaders sat with the you know, the USSR and the Arabs to run the media with this story.
Really?
Like,
I didn't know that
yes,
one.
no, it's recorded. It's not like, it's not fake. I'm not kidding. So, and the media like cooperated with it. And when you have like Europe, USSR, and then America joined as well, because the America disagreed with the USSR on basically everything. But when the KGB had created this narrative with Yasser Arafat in '64 about this Palestinian identity, and because Palestinian until then meant a Jew, it was like if you ask the
Right,
other person what is Palestinian, is like, oh, that's a Jew, right? But so like
right,
and then
right.
the KGB in the '64 with the Yasser Arafat, like, and the terrorist from the gang of terrorists from Tunisia, like, and Kuwait and stuff, like, they moved a lot, but anyway, like, build a new narrative, and it was like the rewriting of the narrative that people had in their mind. So it had to be like, okay, so now all the media is like, okay, from now on Palestinians are the Arabs, not the Jews anymore, and we're just switching it, just switching the language.
Yeah, but I know, right? And
and
they also
then
say
and then
stuff
and
like,
then Israelis don't understand, like, they're fighting the Nazis, the communists, and this Islam that had all cooperated with this narrative. And when the Americans, like, that they opposed everything the USSR did, when the USSR started pushing this narrative of the Palestinians and the agenda of the two-state solution and stuff, for some reason, out of everything that they always chose to be on the opposite side of the USSR, this is the one thing they decided to agree with them on. The one thing.
yeah, it's
The
crazy.
one thing they decided to push, and you can see like the, you know, the clip of Netanyahu being interviewed as a young person, basically my age, in the, and people asking what, like, and he says, like, you cannot have a two-state solution. It's not, it's impossible. They want to ruin us. So here's what I'm suggesting. Let's implement something that would be more like the Israeli Arabs. Obviously, the Israeli Arabs are functioning members of society. They are genuinely, as annoying as they might be sometimes, like with occasional like terrorist attacks. In general, they are truly, genuinely, statistically functioning, successful members of society that also contribute to places that they move to if they choose to immigrate out of Israel. Like I think the one of the CEO was, I don't know who is it now, in Apple, was an Israeli Arab. I know Israeli Arabs who started huge startups right now that I'm friends with, who like have this annoying mindset as well, but they are extremely successful. So it's like the most successful experiment of making the Arab population be productive is Israeli Arabs, to an extreme extent. So this is the thing that Netanyahu was trying to say. Listen, like, this is the most successful Arab story that you have, are the Arabs who got Israeli citizenship. And you can see how the whole fucking parliament, like Congress in the US, goes against him. when he speaks there. And I can think like on every effing subject in the world, you chose to go against the USSR, but on this specific one, you decided to align yourself with it. Well, it's because of Arab oil, obviously, but still, it's like so disgusting. So you have not only that. So they weren't at least, just like with the Nazis, right? They weren't in the planning rooms. They didn't plan it, but they cooperated.
I think the Arab oil excuse, obviously, it is something, but
It is
I think it's
a
horseshit.
lot.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because
Okay.
first of all, you have the USA. The USA has more resources than like every country in the world with everything. That's my opinion.
Right,
Then,
but
and then the thing is like ever since the USA gave them like real military support, for some reason Israel has not actually extended their territory. Just
no,
for some
the
reason.
USA stopped Israel in 1948, and they stopped Israel like every time Israel won, the US made sure to stop Israel from continuing. Um,
What about the 6 days?
always 6 days was it was 6 days. That's the secret. It was 6 days. Like they were too shocked to react on in time. But
Okay. And
yeah,
us, I think Truman told Israel not to attack, and they're
Truman
like,
stopped Israel in 1948. Yes. Um, so the Americans are not but not right now. It's starting. It's the Americans when like they didn't really care. They wanted to attack their business assets more than anything at that time. And you can
okay,
see that because those are public documents, right? So I have a whole book of with all the documents where you have all the intelligence and and the Department of what's their
like a
like
chronology,
like the
with like
the
all these
the
things in
the
chronology.
reports that they gave
You
to
know, every
Truman for him to make the decisions, right?
right.
Like what are the interests of the United States, and it's out there, and it's mostly business.
Of course it is. Of course, at the end of the day, it is. But
Yeah,
I think there was a story in the '80s. They were about to make Israel was about to make their own air force, and I think the home the Homeland Security stopped them. To
but
me,
but the
to
thing
me,
is
I
that
think
what I'm trying to
the
say
best
is
thing
like
America.
because we're like listen, we didn't close up what we started with. So let me finish that, right? So what I'm saying that
Okay, go
Israelis don't
ahead.
understand. Just can you imagine like so you have the USSR, the Arab world, the Muslim world, let's be honest, the Muslim world, and the
Hmm.
Europe and the United States aligning itself with it, all flipping basically in one day, going from Palestinian as a Jew to Palestinian is an Arab. Now tell me, how can 15 million people worldwide fight that and create a narrative that says like, what are you? It's like it's gaslighting. It's like like can you imagine like all the Israelis that knew that when somebody says Palestinian it means okay, it's a Jew. Like one day they woke up to discover that it's not a Jew, it's Arabs. And like what are like what were you just saying? It was like yesterday when you said that you meant us, and now you're saying that and you mean someone else, and then being gaslit by the whole effing world saying, "Oh yeah, no, it always meant Arabs. What are you saying?" And it's like, "What do you mean? Like it's written everywhere. Look, there are newspapers saying a Palestinian group, and then Magen David, like the start of David." And so,
Right.
can you imagine like a 50 million people like being gaslit like that? Can you imagine trying to build a narrative to fight that at all? So they're saying they
But that's
can,
what it is.
but the thing is that they are most of those who are in the square that you went to, those who fight with the hostages, are delusional leftists who don't understand the world around them in every sense possible. They do understand a little bit. They do. By the way, I'm gonna give them one credit. They do understand that the West is anti-Semitic. This they understand. I think the Holocaust gave them enough of a trauma for them to understand that concept. But everything else they are completely wrong with. But
Right.
but there is also like this sense of, you talk to people who want to feel like they have something, like like something. It's like, you know what, like can if they say that, you know, we're 50 million people who one day woke up and discovered we're not the Palestinians anymore, and being gaslit since like in 1 minute, like been gaslighted like that, how, like what can we even do, right? So it's easier to tell yourself, well, our story wasn't good enough. And now,
But
by
here,
the way, with social media, you can have voices like me and finally hear it. And those things are finally
that's
out in
true.
the open, because now, with the side effect of lying about Israel, is actually turned, you know, the lie grew and grew and grew and grew. Because to lie about the Jews, you had to lie about the Arabs, you had to lie about the Palestinians, you had to lie about Islam. And suddenly Islam came to your doors and you lied about it. So you can screw up the Jews. And but now, shit.
Right. But I can ask you, when you say that Palestinians meant the Jew, did they? But didn't the Jews want it to be called? Because they switched the country name to
Yes, but
Israel. Didn't they want to be called themselves
yes,
Israelis?
yes, but that
But
doesn't mean
Palestinian
like,
was like an insult to them.
no,
Is it?
no, no. You can
No.
see an interview with Golda Meir. You know, she was the prime minister of Israel, saying, what do you mean Palestinian? I'm a Palestinian.
Right.
When she got interviewed, I was
I
like,
heard
what do
that.
you mean Palestinian? I'm a Palestinian.
Right. I also have a thing. It's like I
Can you
don't.
imagine that? Can you
What?
imagine, like, can you imagine having that kind of narrative? Then you're like, oh, the Free Palestine. Like, we are the Palestinians. We are what people meant
Right.
originally. There are actual, like, and I shared it, right? I have a photo of saying Free Palestine. And guess what the symbol was? A Star of
Megan
David.
David.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Wow. Also, when I hear like people talk about 67 borders, it just makes me cringe because they don't talk about, wait, what about China 2019 borders? What about that one? Like you never hear that.
Yeah.
You never hear, and that's 2019. That's like yesterday compared to the world history. That's like it happened like yesterday.
I think Shana here has a great question for us. Do you think the left can't
Okay.
see the religious ideology? Do you think the left can't see the religious ideology behind Islam for the same reason they can't meme? That could be. What do you think? What is your theory?
Meme? I don't know anything
I
about
I'm
memes.
actually a meme. I'm really bad with memes too. I cannot meme myself. So
Think-
this theory hurts my soul. It's like a personal insult. Shana, I love you though.
Okay.
All right, yeah, please share your thoughts. I talked too much again. Got tired.
All right. I have to be the host. You're the
Yes.
professional, aren't you?
Well, if it's
Okay.
up to me, I'll be like, hey, thank you for being here. Oh, Ardoan, I still have a lot in my list, but well, at least I can tell you guys, if you wanna hear more about Ardoan's accomplishments,
You have to
then
put bread on the table, right?
right, for sure. No, I'll just make a proper video and then I'll list more things. Like he
Oh,
did
you
so
list more
many
things?
things. Yes, listen, the ban. Like he threatened Cyprus. He had a conflict with Egypt. He supported the ISIS HTS faction and took over Syria. Killed and cut water off the Kurds. Removed the opposition. Promised to conquer Jerusalem. Took over the court, has his own media outlet that works around the world, like had implemented the very successful model of Islamic economy. What else did I write?
Right.
Oh, built a network of radicalization centers in Europe and mosques. amazing, just like sleeping cells for the time that the Europeans would dare to criticize his the way he's
I'll tell you this:
gonna take care of the protests now.
when the
Uh,
economy got so bad, suddenly he called up the Jews, right? Suddenly out of nowhere.
no,
That's what
I
they
mean,
all do, right?
no,
When they need help.
it was his agenda from the get-go, from the
That's his
beginning.
agenda from the get-go:
Yeah.
destroy the economy, and then called the Jews
No,
for
no,
help.
no. He started with like he went against the Jews from the start, from the
Yeah, but then he
beginning.
called them up in like 2022, didn't he?
What do you mean?
For economic help, didn't he?
Oh, I
Like,
think I missed out on what you were saying. Actually, I think I'm.
okay, so I don't know if you remember the Egged bus drivers. Remember the Egged bus drivers
Yeah.
that went to jail in Turkey?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so when they went to jail, I think who was the president at the time? Was it the same president as they have now? I think called him up and whatever, and then suddenly a month later he wanted to amend ties with Israel for some reason. I
Oh,
guess
the thing
because
is
of the
that there is
economy
the
got.
economy, but now he completely cut it off. So this is something he really struggled with, because Israel main import partner was Turkey. So there is a lot of money involved. So he
Mhm.
really struggled with the cutting off of like with the economic aspect of how many Turks are dependent on this relation with Israel, right? It's a lot of money. But yeah, but now that the and after October 7th, they said, okay, we're gonna cut off the ties. They still kept, they still like found ways to bypass the Turkish decision, right? So they would ship to Jordan, and then it like the
Mhm.
label would say Jordan, but in reality it was shipping to Israel. But now I think he cracked down on that as well, which means that like Turkey is losing a lot of money for it, because Israel just found a different, like extending their. Thank you, Patrick, for your support. Extended their economic relations with Greeks, right? So now Greece is the main import partner for Israel, and got different ways to get the same resources. So and still through Turkey, I guess a lot of it is just maybe a little bit more of a pretend destinations on the way. Maybe some like through Greece or Jordan, whatever. It tries to crack down on that, but the reality is that the Israelis have the money to pay and they need the money. And it took October 7th for him to finally be in like the delusional state that is grandiose enough to try to actually also cut that economic perspective in Turkey.
Right. Yeah, I'm just baffled how the Islamic world works together with the leftist world. I don't know how they do it, and then they and then they s- and then they like does they screw over the leftists, and the leftists start screaming, "What happened? How did this happen?" It's like you know the story in Dearborn, Michigan. I don't know if ever heard of Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah, I mean the gays and the Islamists.
Yes, yes,
Oh my God, they're so
yes.
stupid. It's incredible.
They
It's
celebrated the
such a
mayor's
classic
election, and
thing,
then
and
they
I love
banned the
that it
gay
didn't
pride.
become like a. It. I thought it would make a lot more waves around the U.S. But I guess like people who are delusional cannot be easily persuaded to stop.
No, if it's not a Jewish thing doing it, then they would. They're
People
not
are saying
gonna.
it wasn't
They're not gonna
Dearborn.
continue
That
this
was
through.
Hampton. Okay, so what's Dearborn? Is there a different story there? Did I miss it out?
It's like next. It's like around the corner. It's like right there.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's right there. I've never been to Michigan, so I can't. But it's that area.
I've been to the lake, but not the state.
Right.
The water is cold, even in
Uh,
summer. I'm just sharing. And the beach is a kind of a bit rocky. Sand is better.
Where are you now? Is it in Tel Aviv?
Yeah, near Tel Aviv,
Uh-huh.
which is the whole of Israel because Israel is small.
It's just small.
Israel is super small, so everywhere is near Tel Aviv, genuinely speaking.
So you know everybody there. You know every person. I'm just joking.
Densely populated. Small but densely populated. But it's very
Densely
easy to get
populated.
to anyone. Like I
Oh
can tell
yeah,
you, I
the
saw
buses.
that I
Everything bus.
wanted to get like I wanted to. So I saw Netanyahu's brother had appeared in a podcast. So I was like, wait, I wanna have him if he does podcasts. And it took me 5 seconds to get his phone number.
Took you 5 seconds to get his phone number.
Maybe a
You're
minute,
talking about
but
the
yeah,
prime minister's brother.
yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Is there like secret surface around him or not? Because he's his brother.
Probably. He's not that
Oh.
in a spotlight, so.
Doesn't he look like him?
But
I
then
think
I
he
was
looks.
like,
He looks
the
exactly like
podcast
him.
was like 3 months ago, and I was like, wait, why am I just saying it now? And I was like, well, I didn't know he cooperates with the new media, so I should try to persuade him to come to my channel somehow. Hopefully.
Is he? He looks exactly like him. I think, doesn't he?
Mm-mm. It sounds exactly
No,
like him, though.
sounds exactly like him.
Yeah, yeah, the voice is the same. They don't look the same.
They both sound like Americans when they speak English, right?
I, in my, from my perspective, yes, but I've heard Americans say that the Netanyahu does have a little bit of an accent when he speaks English.
I don't know. He speaks better English than all the Americans I've spoken to.
Yeah, but that doesn't like you can have an accent and speak better.
Right.
No, I mean just
Okay.
asking. Maybe he doesn't have an accent either.
Okay. Oh, I don't know. He sounds like he's from Philly.
I believe you. Do you think I can tell?
Okay.
Really, I can't really tell that much the difference between different American accents.
All right. Um.
I know I
Yes.
don't have one. Like I checked, there is like an app or something that you talk like you read English text to it and then it tells you what accent you have. I got 100% Hebrew. And then I try to fake a different accent, and every time I try to fake a different accent, I get Romanian for some reason.
So what accent do you have?
Hebrew.
Does you have an Israeli accent? I don't know.
Yeah, Hebrew. No,
It's
that's
not.
the
It's not as heavy as other people.
yeah, but the app knew and the app got it every time. When I really tried to sound
Like,
American, it said Hebrew 100% every time in my accent.
oh,
But when I try to
what's
fake
the
a
app
different
called?
accent just for fun to have like a different result, I got
Oh man.
Romanian.
What did
I
you try to
tried
do? You tried to be
I
like
tried
a
Indian
southerner?
accent, like I tried Indian accent, I got Romanian. I tried Russian accent, I got Romanian.
Did you try like the southerner, Southern American, like
No, I didn't
the
try it.
cowboy?
Mm-mm.
No. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. All right, guy. I mean, I guess. By the way,
You
I
want to
have
invite
a
someone else?
no. I just I saw somebody saying Golda, and then I remembered I got a copyright strike when I reacted to her interview in that the reporter. Not only that the reporter was annoying with the stupid questions about what, yeah, Palestinians, and she's like, "What do you mean Palestinians? I'm a Palestinian." Not only that, the media company he worked for to this day copy strikes people who react to them.
Like, I saw an interview with her right after like 2 weeks into it was like November, October 20th around. And it was my mother sent me a video of an interview with her and a reporter, and it was the same exact thing. Oh, so what about civilians? And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, we're in the
It's just,
same loop for like a while now. But
oh
the thing
God.
that changes is that Islam came to you. So now you cannot deny what Islam is like.
All right, but whatever. It's like Ukraine is stronger than destroy like towns of Russia. Civilians, I would never hear that. But I guess I guess it's whatever. We all know the circle. Everyone knows the circle how it works.
Hmm. Well, I think I'm gonna
But
quit for tonight. I wanted to have a pretty short life, to be honest.
do you think these people could take over Turkey or no, there's no way?
It depends on the who goes to the army and the police, which I I didn't really check that much. Like
I
it's hard.
think
It's like it's I can do the research, right, and check like what exact like who goes and who serves where. Just think about it, like the British police, like who goes there. So everybody who was decent British citizen quit the police, and now you have a lot of Islamists there, and leftists that are left, and people who are taken hostage by the Islamic community and say Allahu Akbar, I mean Assalamu alaikum, and have this ridiculous hostage situation kind of films that they make when they talk about the Islamic community. So if
uh,
you have these kind of people, then it's doomed. But if you have normal people, then there is hope.
they say this is what I've heard in NATO that there are rumors that they are the second most powerful army in NATO.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't know how in the world they're going to.
But that doesn't mean like they might have the equipment, but you also need people that have motivation to fight.
Right. I mean, the Shah of Iran, I think, had a strong army, but it didn't work. They quit. So
No, yeah, but it's also like it was partially a choice because they knew they had to gun down a lot of people and they chose to give up. Which is, to be fair,
uh,
if you actually know the population in Iran back then, like third of them were lunatics, Islamic lunatics. They had to be gunned down. That was the only way out of it.
but then the other I don't know about third, 2/3, whatever. A lot of the other people were leftists.
I mean,
I call it everyone's beautiful leftists. Everyone
the
in the world
students,
agrees with me.
but the genuinely speaking, the Iranian like rural population was very unpleasantly Islamic.
Right? I
But
mean,
here's the
but how
thing,
come
like
they haven't gotten turned
they
over?
are the
How come they haven't gotten turned over?
what do you mean?
Iran too. Like, how come they haven't gotten turned? Like, how come there hasn't been like there's tried to be. How come there hasn't been like a strong revolution to get them out? Same
Be-
thing, Turkey and Iran. Like,
because Iran has a third that is Islamic, a third that is not. It's equal, and the side that has the guns is the Islamic side.
okay.
Mm.
Fine.
Yeah, it's like the question is like who is armed. This is why I think like fundamentally like the leftists who are afraid of the um, ultra orthodox Jews are ridiculous because like they generally speaking don't have any firearms. Like you talk about the those who go to the army, like that's a different population, right? They are productive,
Yeah.
they work normally and stuff like that, and they also have guns. But the one that is more like living um, off the state, which is like the economy burden, are they're not
hmm
armed. So it's I always think like their demands like them making noise. I always think like for people who would not carry arms, you sure have are bold, but sure.
Well, I mean that though. I mean, I think those are the ones that are only showing you. I mean, I think they do protest, and then they. I think most of them get scared.
Hmm?
I think most of them get scared. You're only looking at like the 10, 15 that are going at the police, and it's like, what are you doing? But whatever.
Okay, I don't know, but yeah. All right, I'm
You know,
gonna
you never
quit
been to
now.
one like that? All
No,
right.
I'm not sure what who are we talking about. I lost the context, but
No, the ultra orthodox.
no, they also have like massive. They can be on a mess,
Mhm.
but it's still
Oh,
ridiculous. All right, you guys, I'm gonna quit now.
okay.
Good night,
Okay. Right.
and good night here as well.